The province of Alberta is on the precipice of losing 52 years of established rights and freedoms, and most have no clue. As some of you may have heard, there is a proposal to add reasonable limits to the Alberta Bill of Rights. On the surface, it may sound innocent enough. The problem, though, is that reasonable is a very vague word. What seems reasonable to one person might be unreasonable to another. The proposed amendment itself is being referred to by many lawyers as a Trojan horse.
In a few weeks' time, our UCP government will be introducing legislation to amend and strengthen the Alberta Bill of Rights, a document that has stood as a safeguard for our civil liberties and freedoms for decades.
For quick context, the Alberta Bill of Rights was created in 1972 to protect core rights that we all rely on: freedom of speech, assembly, the right to own property, etc. This document is meant to serve as a shield, ensuring the government cannot encroach on these rights and freedoms. A modified Alberta Bill of Rights could lead to limits on freedom of speech if a message is seen as unreasonable. It could also limit freedom of assembly if a peaceful protest is deemed too disruptive. Or what about public interest, national security, climate change, or the next thing they have planned for us? The truth is, once the language allows for reasonable limits, it gives the government broad discretion over when and how it applies those limits. The proposed changes are very well crafted. Quite genius, actually. On one hand, it appeals to a logical thinking Canadian with proposals like, quote, the right for an individual with capacity not to be compelled or coerced into receiving a vaccine. I mean, hey, who doesn't want that, right? However, the added fine print of reasonable limits makes the entire document worthless. As the saying goes, giveth with one hand and taketh away with the other. The Alberta Bill of Rights is a foundational document. It shouldn't be left vulnerable to subjective interpretations or shifting political interests. What makes it so special is that it shines in stark contrast to the Charter of Rights, which does include the words reasonable limits, by the way, a script repeated quite often during the 2020 and 2021 lockdowns.
Why are you guys doing this, man? Seriously, you guys don't care about the Charter?
The Charter has limitations.
Yep,
Section
Article
1 of the
52.
Charter has limitations.
If we want to maintain our rights, it's essential to keep them free from subjective limits that could shift based on political tides. Whether you live in Alberta or not, let's stand for an Alberta Bill of Rights that truly protects Albertans without compromise. The intentions behind this video is not to attack or advocate for any individual or political party, but rather bring this topic to the front of people's minds. Public awareness is our greatest weapon, which is why this video is necessary. Freedom dies in the dark.